Well, the Charlton merry-go-round continues. There is never a normal day at this football club. And I guess you could say this is a shortened down version of the infamous What the Fuck is Going On at Charlton Athletic series that I've developed over the past few years in regards to our ownership, because there has been some pretty big news coming out of SE7 today and fairly positive, depending on how you look at it. But I think most Charlton fans are in agreement that the main problem at this club is still here. However, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how these ones unfold and if they are successful. So, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've sat down and spoken to you all. The last video I've done on the channel was the video reacting to Ben Garner's sacking. Today, we do have news that is definitely worth discussing, as there is a structural change at the Valley, as Charlton have announced probably about 15 or 20 minutes ago at the time of recording this, that we have appointed 4 new senior members of staff in a new first team manager, technical director, chief operating officer and finance director. So we're going to talk all about it. We're going to find out exactly who the personnel are and whether they are decent appointments for the rest of the season. And yeah, let's just dive straight into it, shall we? So we'll begin, as ever, by reading the club's statement. It is fairly long, so please bear with me. Charlton Athletic are delighted to confirm the appointment of 4 experienced professionals in senior roles at the club. Dean Holden has been appointed as the men's first team manager. Andy Scott has been appointed as technical director. Jim Rodwell has been appointed as chief operating officer, and Ed Warrick has been appointed as finance director. Charlton owner Thomas Sandgaard said, "I'm delighted we have been able to appoint such experienced and knowledgeable people to help us move forward. Each individual appointed has experience at championship level or higher, and the appointments should give us the structure and stability that we need to progress as a club." When the men's first team is successful, it lifts the entire club.
Well, no fucking shit.
Which is why the additions on the footballing side are so important. Dean Holden is a talented manager who is well respected in the footballing circles. He'll bring good experience and knowledge which will help us as we look to get our season back on track.
We're fucked.
I'm really pleased we've been able to bring in Andy Scott. He's a highly regarded individual who has played an important role in the success of a number of clubs and has the vision, skill set and contacts to help move the club forward. He'll play a key role in the January transfer window and longer term will help further align the direction of our men's first team and academy. The appointment of Jim Rodwell gives us senior leadership on the ground at the Valley. He has excellent experience and I have been very impressed with what I have seen already. Ed Warrick is an excellent professional and will be the perfect replacement for Emma Parker, who leaves her role at the end of the week. Caretaker manager Anthony Hayes will take Wednesday's Carabao Cup tie against Brighton and Hove Albion before returning to the role as men's first team coach to support Holden. Scott Marshall will continue as the men's first team assistant coach. Jason Pearce, who has been assisting Hayes, will return to his role with the club's under-18s team. Sandgaard added, "I would like to thank Anthony and the team for stepping up in the interim and managing the side during this challenging period. A press conference with Dean Holden will take place this week." It then goes on to give a little bit of a profile about all 4 of the individuals involved, beginning with our new manager, Dean Holden. Holden is a former professional footballer who played 427 games in his career. Since finishing, he has managed Oldham Athletic and in the Championship at Bristol City, when he was assistant manager from 2018 to 2020 before becoming manager in 2020. It also fails to mention he had a bit of a stint at Stoke City, but we'll get into a bit more about that later. Next up is our new technical director, Andy Scott. Scott, also a former professional footballer, played 396 games in his career. Since retiring, he has established himself in Premier League and Championship backroom roles at Brentford, Watford, Swansea City and Nottingham Forest. Scott will work alongside Director of Recruitment Steve Gallen and Director of Analysis Martin Sandgaard. Jim Rodwell. Rodwell is a former professional footballer who most recently served as the interim CEO of Championship side Hull City. He has previously sat on the board of both the EFL and the FA Council, which is interesting. He was also Director of Football and then Chairman at Boston United before spells as Chief Executive at numerous clubs, including Sunderland. Ed Warrick. Warrick is a financial director with experience at Premier League level, as well as working with numerous clubs at a lower level. I do think some of Sandgaard's comments in the conference do kind of make me laugh a little bit. He's talking about hopefully this will progress the club. Hopefully it will give us a bit of stability moving forward and it will get our season back on track. Look, the season's gone. The season is gone at this point. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to be negative in this situation, but the season is absolutely dead and buried. There is nothing that you can tell me now that any senior person that's brought in, whether it be the new manager or the new technical director or whatever, or new, you know, leadership in the club, there is nothing for me that will salvage this season. We've got a squad that is completely shot of confidence and, let's face it, not good enough. And we've got an owner that doesn't want to invest in the club, and there's still a lot of question marks as to whether he will actually invest in January. And I find it rather rich that he's saying, yeah, this will bring stability to the club and moving us forward. And the fact that he's doing this now, 3 years into his tenure owning the football club. And it just begs me the question, why? Why now? You know, why have you chosen to do it now? Why have you now finally realised that football isn't as easy as you thought it was and you claimed it was last year? I don't know. It is unfortunately 3 years too late for Sandgaard. He's realised far too late, but I suppose we can say at the very least he has appointed someone, and it is an improvement on the current situation as we do have new backroom staff. So I guess the best place to start is by talking about our new manager. Of course, it is Dean Holden. Dean Holden is Charlton Athletic's new first team manager. He is Ben Garner's replacement and the 5th manager to be manager under Thomas Sandgaard. If I had to sum it up in one word, underwhelming. I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed with this appointment whatsoever. I don't really see the difference between him and Garner. I love how Sandgaard has turned around and said that, yeah, he's a brilliant manager. You know, he's got a wealth of experience. He's not a brilliant manager. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. But if you look at his managerial career, he is just as, if not even more, inexperienced than the manager that we've just let go, which just makes it even more bewildering to me as to, I still haven't really got over the whole Ben Garner situation and I'm still absolutely fuming from it. But we've brought in Dean Holden. He's come in as his replacement. He was the out-and-out favourite for absolutely weeks. Very inexperienced as a coach and probably even more inexperienced than Garner. As the article alluded to, the only managerial jobs he's really had was at Oldham Athletic, Bristol City, and like I briefly mentioned, he did also have a caretaker role at Stoke City just after Martin O'Neill got relieved of his duties, and he was caretaker manager. To be fair, there's a good reason why the article doesn't include it, because he was caretaker manager for 1 game. However, he did win it, which I think is quite well, I'll say it's quite interesting. But if you look at his managerial record as a manager, 57 games, 22 wins, 18 draws and 25 losses, with a win percentage of 38.6%, if I'm reading that correctly, which is, like I say, bang average and underwhelming. And that's why I'm not particularly impressed with this appointment, because, like I say, he's inexperienced. However, I've seen a lot of people, you know, talking him up. You know, I think a lot of Stoke City fans said he did really well there. You know, he was a very good coach, which I think is the big thing really, is a good coach. But does that transition into being a good manager? We don't know. But yeah, I suppose, I mean, I can't get all negative. You know, we've got to, of course, I'm going to support Dean Holden. Don't think you're watching this video thinking I'm not going to support him. Just because I think it's an underwhelming appointment doesn't mean I'm just going to scold him right from the off. But I'm going to back him. I'm going to back him 100%. I think that's the only thing we can really do. It is an underwhelming appointment, like I said, but I think we do have to back him. But realistically, I think it begs to the one thing that is on everyone's minds, really. What difference is this actually going to make under Thomas Sandgaard, because he is still at the club? What difference is Holden coming in going to have on this club? And I would probably say very little, because I think, again, it begs down to the January transfer window. The January transfer window, if we really want to get our season back on track, he needs to invest in this club, and I honestly don't see it happening, which is why I do feel sorry for Holden even before he's coming into the job, because he will obviously want to come into January, and not just him, but the other senior members of staff that have come into their new positions. They'll obviously be wanting to kickstart and be like, right, we need to get players in January. We need to salvage what we can, because realistically, we need a big rebuild in January, or even in the summer. We'll probably do the same thing we did in 2020-21, where we basically got rid of half of our squad and just tried to get as many of the deadwood players out of the club as we physically could. I think realistically, we need to be doing that in January. We need to get as many players through the door as possible, but what difference is it going to make? That's the big question. Is Holden going to get the confidence out of an already completely shot team? I don't know. But like I say, I'm not exactly overexcited about the appointment of Holden. I think it is a very underwhelming, cheap appointment. However, it may contradict what I've just said about him, because I have pretty much scolded the appointment because I don't agree with it personally. I think that there were probably better options out there, but as unrealistic as they were. But yeah, I will support him. I will support him, but I'll just say this: good fucking luck, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because you are very much under the cosh, and to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if he doesn't last the full season, knowing Thomas Sandgaard. What is interesting though is the staff behind him. Scott Marshall is remaining at the club. I would have thought he would have gone with Ben Garner, but no, he is staying on as the assistant manager. Of course, Anthony Hayes is going back to his first team coach role. I do have to speak admirably of Anthony Hayes, although very clearly you can see he isn't a manager and he's not ready for the current position. I've seen a couple of people saying, oh yeah, he's shit. I don't really agree with that, because realistically he was thrown into the deep end. He was completely up against it. We knew full well he wasn't going to be the full-time appointment, and he's not ready for the job. We know that. You know, we saw that from the Stockport game and the Bristol Rovers game the weekend just gone. We know that he's not ready for the job. But yeah, he's gone back to his first team coaching role, which is of course brilliant, and Jason Pearce has returned to the academy. So yeah, that's Dean Holden. Now we probably get on to probably the most interesting, or the next two I should say, probably the most interesting, and that is our new technical director, first of all, Andy Scott. Now, a lot of people didn't really know who he was. I didn't know who he was either, but he does have a wealth of experience under his belt in terms of backroom roles and recruiting. As the article alludes to, he has had previous stints at Brentford, Watford, Swansea City, and most recently Nottingham Forest, where he was the head of recruitment, I do believe, or behind the scenes in the recruiting scene during Forest's promotion season and their ridiculous amount of money spending in the transfer window this season in the Premier League. And it's definitely a contrast to what it was. It's two very different backgrounds. You know, Forest were just flinging money at the Premier League like there's no tomorrow, and he's now come to a club where realistically we're not going to spend nowhere near as much money, or maybe any money at all. But I do like the Andy Scott appointment. I do think that one is more positive. I think obviously we need that experienced head in the backroom staff. The one thing I don't like, though, is the fact that Martin Sandgaard, for a start, is still in his position, which I think is outrageous. How Sandgaard is still keeping the family ties involved in those roles. And I think, more rather controversially, Steve Gallen. Personally, I don't know about Gallen, man. Like, I have a lot of respect for Gallen, you know, over the last couple of years. But if you have to think, like, in recent seasons, in particular, the season just gone, and maybe even the season after, can you really pinpoint one big player that Gallen has been able to bring in? It's got to the point now where Gallen has probably gone as far as he can in the role that he has got, and Martin Sandgaard is just completely inept for the position. So, personally, I really do hope that Scott is the main figurehead of the three of them, and he gets the biggest say. You know, he gets, you know, well, he can use his experience basically to guide Gallen and Sandgaard. I also think the Jim Rodwell one is a good appointment as well. Again, has a wealth of experience, has been in various roles at other clubs. It says here he served as the interim CEO at Hull City, so again, championship experience there. Had previous roles at Boston United, as it says. He was the chairman and director of football there, and he's had chief executive roles at numerous clubs, including Sunderland. So he does have a lot of experience, and I think that it's definitely going to help in and around the Valley. You know, I'd much rather this guy come in who has a wealth of experience than, for example, Sandgaard and his wife roaming around the Valley, as I've seen numerous times. I do hope that Sandgaard just steps aside from that role that he had, and he gives Rodwell the freedom to just basically take control and just move about the place and just organise things, because ultimately he has the experience to do it. He's been there, done it, got the CV. So I hope that Sandgaard now, with these appointments, he does realistically, or hopefully, just step back and he just becomes just sort of there. The final one is Ed Warrick, who isn't really, well, I don't want to disrespect him already, but probably not as a big appointment compared to Rodwell, Scott and Holden. But still, it's going to be an interesting appointment. Again, he's got Premier League experience. He's replacing Emma Parker. I'm sorry to Emma, but I've never heard of her. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, you know, to see him come in and see if he can do his job.
5 hours later.
That was until I discovered the links between Rodwell and Warrick to Charlie Meffin. As some of you may know, it's been reported in the South London press and things like that, that Charlie Meffin has been linked with the potential CEO role. But Sandgaard came out recently and said that Meffin will not have any authority in the club whatsoever, despite the fact him attending games recently, which I have no idea why he's been attending games, and the fact that he and Ed Warrick, it's been discovered, own something called SE7 Partners.
Oh, no again! Not fucking again! Fuck! How the fuck is this shit? How the fuck does that happen? How does that happen? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god.
I don't know, man. I retract every single statement I've just said about the two of them now. Fucking hell. Like I said at the start, I think the main problem at this club, which is Thomas Sandgaard, is still here. And I think that the biggest question on everyone's lips is what difference is this going to make? You know, like I say, we've appointed a manager that is even more inexperienced as Garner. Is he going to have the impact on the squad? Only time will tell. But I go back to what I said at the start of the video. Why now? Why has it taken Sandgaard 3 years of ownership, 3 years of running this club into the lowest position it's ever been in and the worst squad we've ever seen, wearing this Charlton shirt? Why now? Why has he decided to act now? You know, there's been a lot of rumblings going about the place. It could definitely be worth doing for a separate video if there are more developments. If you would like to see that, then do let me know. But of course, as Richard Cawley broke yesterday, in fact, Mohammed Mansour, an Egyptian billionaire and I believe, funder for the Tory party recently, has, or is, should I say, in pole position to become the club's new owner, which is definitely an interesting one because he does have a lot of wealth surrounding him. I'm not going to go into too much details to say it's enough to make a different video on, but I just need to get this video out for all of you. But yeah, the Mansour potential takeover is a very interesting one, and it does beg the question, you know, if the Mansour thing is legit and the club is going to be sold, which people are rumbling on about, rumours on Twitter and about the place, it could happen very soon. Why has Sandgaard appointed these people now? If Mansour is to take over the club, are these the 4 people that he would have appointed? It's a very confusing and a whole different, you know, I can't even think of a phrase right now. It's a whole new episode. There you go, a whole new episode to the saga, to the soap opera surrounding this football club right now. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, turn on those post notifications so you're notified of every time I upload a new video. What do you guys think of these appointments? Dean Holden is our new manager, Andy Scott, Jim Rodwell, Ed Warrick. What do you think of all of them? Let me know in the comments below. I do apologise again for lack of videos. Like I say, I just haven't been feeling it at the moment, and I can't apologise enough for it, but ultimately, if my heart is not in it, I won't pursue it, which it is really sad to say that, ultimately, because, you know, I've absolutely loved doing this for 5 years. It was my 5-year anniversary of this channel recently, but sadly, with this club right now, it's really hard to find the motivation to do this, and I'm surprised even in myself that I've been able to do this, but yeah, I'm hopefully, I'm going to sound like a broken record where I keep saying videos are coming, but I am hoping to God that I can get more videos out in the next few weeks or for the foreseeable future, because ultimately that is what you guys deserve. If you guys would like me to do a video on the Mohammed Mansour takeover, then do let me know in the comments below. I say takeover, it's not confirmed yet, but it definitely is an interesting takeover and definitely worth a separate video. So if you would like to see that, do let me know. I'll try and get it out to you in the next few days, hopefully before Christmas, if you would like to see it. Thank you again for watching this video, guys. It is greatly appreciated. This has been Tyler Rodinson. Have a nice day, and I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, stay safe. See you all later. Good luck, Dean Holden, mate. You're going to need it. Take it easy.